Are you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via live stream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbprou.com.
Good evening and welcome to Leadership Live at 8:05 Talking Small Business. This is Andrew Frazier, your host, and excited about being here once again Tuesday night talking small business. Each week, as you know, we have someone great to chat about, someone who's a business thought leader, expert, entrepreneur, who has valuable things to share. Every entrepreneur and business owner has a journey and a leadership journey in terms of how you become a better leader so that you can run your business better. And what's better than learning from people who have done it successfully? So tonight, I'm very excited to have our special guest, Kimberlee Williams. Known Kimberlee for a little while, and she's always doing great stuff. She's started nonprofits, she's started for-profits, she's done some great things in Newark, New Jersey, country, and the world. So look forward to having a chance to chat with Kim, and I think you'll learn a lot. So welcome, Kim. How are you doing today?
Greetings. Thank you so much for inviting me to this platform and to your audience. I can't wait to share what I have to give.
Okay, yeah, definitely. We have a few minutes to catch up before the show, but time's been going so fast that it's unbelievable. But it doesn't seem like it's been that long, especially just talking and catching up. Definitely, you've had your journey, you've done quite a few things. Can you take a few minutes to kind of just walk people through sort of how you got to where you are now and where you are now so people can get a feel for that?
Thank you. Sure, I will. I am a pro-social entrepreneur, meaning that I use entrepreneurship to solve problems that I see in my community. And those problems often deal with helping people get access to services, helping businesses to grow, helping environmental projects to thrive. So I'm an entrepreneur that certainly is focused on making a profit, but I'm equally as focused on making an impact. And I began that journey in 2004 in earnest, although I started many times in a business venture, but it was in 2004 that I realized that I'm truly ready. I had the mentorship that I needed. I had the experience that I desired, and I had the opportunity to enter the market here in Newark, New Jersey. So the first business I founded in 2004 was actually a business I co-founded called FEMWORKS, Marketing and Communications, in which I founded with Tamara Fleming. And we did that in my living room in Montclair, New Jersey. We came up with a vision to have an impact in marketing and communications where we saw an obvious gap that people of color, LGBT people, women of color, Black women were not being marketed to. There was no messaging for us. There was an obvious gap in the marketplace. So we aimed to fill that gap. And we came up with a vision and a name for ourselves, which is FEMWORKS. And we went into the marketplace. And slowly but surely, we started out with very small clients, small nonprofits, even a performing arts high school. Cicely Tyson High School was one of our early projects and clients. But we grew into an organization that served the needs of metropolitan cities such as Newark and other cities across the country. And it was really in that journey that I realized that my experience as an entrepreneur was not unique, meaning that it was a challenge, of course. It's a challenge to be an entrepreneur, but I realized that there were so many unnecessary hindrances or blocks or hurdles, whatever you want to call it, that really needed to be addressed. And instead of waiting for someone else to figure out the problem and then come up with the solution and then implement the solution, I decided that I would be a change agent, that I would be the person that convened other entrepreneurs that saw a similar problem, and we became the solution to the problem. So through my journey of entrepreneurship and getting clients and winning the next contract, I also worked with other entrepreneurs to be a solution through the development of nonprofits that served our own needs as small business owners. So, a nonprofit I founded in Newark, New Jersey called Forward Ever Sustainable Business Alliance was brought to life through a collaboration again with Tamara Fleming and with an organization called Lincoln Park Coast Cultural District. And we also founded New Jersey's first LGBT Chamber of Commerce in partnership again with other small business owners who understood the value of having a chamber that supported our needs, but we also recognized that New Jersey had a void. We did not have a chamber that was affiliated with a national movement. And so we became the founders of that chamber, which is called the New Jersey Pride Connections Chamber, and it now boasts over 200 members. And speaking of time flying, that was almost 10 years ago. But my latest work is really focusing on creative entrepreneurs and helping develop an ecosystem to elevate Black and Brown entrepreneurs who are in the creative field. So traditionally creative, you think about fine artists and painters and photographers. And yes, we're talking about those people too. But as broadly, when we think about creative as folks that want to become real estate developers and are in the media arts and what have you. So that's what I'm working on today through a nonprofit called Shift Small Business Now and through an organization, a for-profit organization called Newark Business Hub, where we provide education, mentorship, networks for entrepreneurs that are looking to take their small business to the next level and be ready to pitch for investment. And I do that in partnership with my colleague and business partner, Jeff Billingsley, and Rutgers University, where we offer a global certificate in professional entrepreneurship. So it's been a long journey, but I've learned so many incredible lessons about growth, about how to pivot, how to turn even a downturn into a success. And I'm really excited to talk to your listeners about that.
Okay, great. Well, definitely, you've done more than a little. You started with a nonprofit, or sorry, for-profit, then a nonprofit, then a chamber, and then Shift, the business hub, but you forgot something important.
You mean that one little thing, that scarlet, red, and black thing that we're talking about here? Is that what you mean?
Well, actually, that's one thing. So you could say a little bit about that.
Well, I thought you were talking about Rutgers University, Newark, and my work there as the director of communications and marketing where I work really closely with the chancellor's office to tell the story of a university that is on a mission as an anchor institution and as a change agent and as a institution that's really leading the way for where higher education is going. But that's not what you were talking about. What were you talking about?
It's red as well. So you did TEDx Newark.
Oh, right. That is major. Yes, TEDx Newark. And that was in 2013, I believe. Yep. 2013. That was a community project that helped to launch Forward Ever Sustainable Business Alliance as a nonprofit. And the idea behind that was, let's do something really big to define this nonprofit in a way that would differentiate it in the marketplace, that no one else is doing TEDx's and no one else was approaching the development and the production of TEDx in the way that Forward Ever approached it. And it was a really community engaged process where we convened probably 12 or 15 different times at Dryden Mansion. You remember Dryden Mansion, right? So we had so many community conversations that allowed neighbors to come together and talk about issues with business people, with students, with nonprofit leaders, with artists, all under the same roof, discussing what were the issues of the day, what were the important issues facing Newark and therefore facing the rest of the country, and where we had experts in our own community doing projects that become and have become really benchmark case studies nationally. We put them on the stage, and it was a remarkable day. It was a remarkable day in 2013. I think that sort of lives on in its own way. And that experience as a producer of a TEDx event put me in the community of TED. And then several years later, in 2016, I was invited to be a fellow, a resident rather, at TED in their headquarters in New York. And I got personal coaching and what have you to deliver my own TED Talk called The New Majority, which is on TED.com. So I've had a lot of experience with the other red, the other red brand. Okay. And I look forward to actually bringing that back sometime soon because, you know, it was ripe for Newark in 2013. And I think it's ripe for Newark again. I mean, we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary, as a matter of fact, next year.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. You never know.
Okay. No, that's cool. I recall well, actually. I think I went to your first event of Forward Ever. That's where we met.
Yes.
A while back and all. So definitely. So very glad to have you on the show. We got a question from Michelle. We've got quite a few people on. So invite everybody to really comment, ask questions in the show. We're going to get to your question in a sec. We're just going to take a quick break. As you may know, we do this through the Small Business Pro University. So it's always good to know a little bit what the Small Business Pro University is as a resource for entrepreneurs and business owners. So we'll take a second to learn a little bit about that, and then I'll be back here with Kimberlee talking small business. Do you own your business or does it own you? Is your business growing and are you making enough money? As a business owner, there are so many things you need to know to become more successful. Hello, my name is Andrew Frazier, the Business Growth Pro and CFO. I created the Small Business Pro University for you. Small Business Pro University has self-paced, dynamic, multimedia learning experiences created by more than 20 instructors who are business owners just like you. Small Business Pro University will empower you to become a masterpreneur by learning the secrets to creating a successful enterprise to go from working in your business to working on your business.
take advantage of our strategic coaching program, or just simply choose the courses that you need. At www.sbprou.com, we will empower you to thrive and not just survive, and make more money in any business environment.
Welcome back. I'm here with Kimberlee Williams, talking about helping entrepreneurs to thrive in any business environment. And the last few years have been all types of different business environments. And some of us haven't made it, but many of us have. And whenever you have a challenge, there's always opportunities too. So, Kimberlee, what are some key things that you've seen that has helped people make it through this challenging time as far as business owners?
I mean, in a real practical sense, learning how to pitch your business. Because what I've seen a lot of, which has never existed before, is the availability of grant money, the availability and easy access to investment dollars. But the ability to pitch your business in a concise way, in a way that is numbers driven, so that an investor understands the opportunity, I think is a valuable skill for the days and times that we're in. It's always been a great skill. I mean, television shows like Shark Tank will tell you that learning how to pitch is a great skill. But the environment has changed so drastically. Never before were there available grants for a for-profit organization. That was just unheard of. But now there are. Now there's the availability of platforms like equity crowdfunding, where you can make a pitch to the world, essentially, and get investors from all corners of the globe. But that is a skill, and it's not a talent. You're not born ready to pitch. But learning how to do that requires the fundamentals of business planning, financial planning. A lot of fundamental skills come together such that you're able to, on a dime, tell someone what's in it for them and how your business is a great opportunity. I think that's one of the greatest skills necessary for this day and time.
Okay, no, I agree. In my book, one of the things I said was, what's your most important job as a business owner? And, in that chapter, what I found is many business owners don't know their most important job. So if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, how are you going to do it well? At the end of the day, business is about marketing and selling. So you have to be able to communicate. You're 100% right. The grants are great, but it ruined my course, because I used to have a slide that had like a circle with a line through it and then grants, because it was impossible to get grants. Everybody told you could get them, but there were none. But now there are some, so definitely good to take advantage of that. So that's really cool. So
I just want to put a fine point on what you just said, which is that communicating is great, and you have to be able to communicate your business and be a salesperson. In this pitching, though, especially in the pitching for investment, because let's say you want to take your business to the next level, or you're thinking about rounds of funding for your business, just depending on where you are in your development, you have to learn how to communicate with numbers. You know what I mean? Because communicating with, look, I'm a marketing person. Words, I have all the words you want, right? But if I'm not saying words mixed with some projections of numbers and return on investment and really an assessment of what the opportunity is, that's a different way of communicating. And that may be a learning edge for some people.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's actually the next chapter of my book called What is Your Greatest Fear? And it's usually numbers, because people don't do the analysis. They either don't want to know, don't know how to figure out, or whatever. But if you're going to be a serious business person, um, that's the language of business. So, yeah, 100%. Actually, my my book I'm working on now is called um, running your business by running your business by the numbers.
Okay.
The strategy to maximizing profitability. So, or something like that. It's not finished yet, but a lot of people don't know how to do it. So, trying to make it a lot easier for people to understand it, because it's not rocket science. It's just something that you got to learn, just like anything else. So,
It's funny. The other thing I found, which is connected to this pitching recommendation, is that many entrepreneurs are stuck thinking about how they're going to self-finance their business. And they're in this pattern of just reinvesting their money into the business. And these are good habits. It shows a lot of character. You know what I mean? But in the same token, I encourage entrepreneurs to think about other people's money and how to use other people's money and how to be qualified to access other people's money for your operation so that your operation can evolve beyond you. Because it is very difficult to thrive. And you talked about doing more than surviving, right? We want to
yeah.
thrive. It's hard to do that when you are your own bank, or your business, which is, maybe a toddler or maybe it's a preteen. It's a young person, right? And essentially, you may want your business to carry more responsibility than it can with the capital that is its foundation. But enough, I think that, I really encourage Black and Brown entrepreneurs to think about how to access other people's money and then get prepared to do that and do that earlier on in your business. Oftentimes, I see entrepreneurs who feel like they need to prove their business case 20 times, maybe 40 times before before they feel the confidence, you know, or the worthiness, the entitlement, whatever the word you want to put in that blank, to pursue investment.
Okay. Yeah, no, definitely. With the caveat, you don't want to take money from everyone. There's you got to know your numbers, because some people are out there to hurt you, not help you, on that side. And if you don't have a business plan, it's kind of hard to access that. So definitely many business owners don't have one, but you should have one anyways, just so you know what you're doing. But it also is important if you're going to try and access money from other places. So cool. So I don't want to go too far before we answer Michelle's question. So, and it goes on, it matches up with pitching and capital. So she's interested in learning more about your program Rutgers for pitching the capital raise.
Okay, got it. So the program is called the Newark Business Hub. You can find the website newarkbusinesshub.com. And the Newark Business Hub is an accelerator program that supports Black and Brown entrepreneurs that are in the creative fields. And it provides them access to a multimedia curriculum that is fully online, and a community of other entrepreneurs to connect with. And the Newark Business Hub community is a global community of entrepreneurs. As a matter of fact, our last cohort graduated 60 Black women from countries as far away as Spain and France and Haiti and different countries in Africa, as well as the United States. So you would be in very good company. But essentially, it provides the skills to learn how to develop your business plan, to learn how to develop your financial projections, to do customer centered research. It teaches the fundamentals of lean startup as the approach to business planning. It also provides access to one-on-one coaching as well as online webinars, as well as other resources, access to templates and other resources that you might find helpful. And that'll really help you take some time off of your journey, so to speak. And we offer this certificate with Rutgers University so that graduates complete the course in 12 weeks and they've earned a certificate from Rutgers University and the Newark Business Hub in global entrepreneurship. And we offer that program in cohorts that are usually sponsored by a corporation. So essentially, a corporation, as part of its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative, would sponsor the enrollment fees for a group of Black and Brown entrepreneurs. And then those entrepreneurs would proceed through the course, which again is a 12-week journey.
Excellent, excellent. So no, definitely, great opportunity. So if you fit the bill, we'll put the link in the chat and right below us. So definitely, Michelle, if you or somebody else who's interested, don't hesitate to check it out. We've also got Kimberlees LinkedIn in the chat. So if you want to connect with her or follow up with her, that's a good way to do that. And then Michelle's got another specific question for, I guess, a week and a half from now. Looking for artists next Saturday. So anybody who may be looking, be an artist or know some that are available. A lot of stuff going on Juneteenth. So, that's an opportunity. I know there's an organization called Empower the Village that they're having their Juneteenth at the Montclair Art Museum. And they're going to have, a group of artists, but it's going to be Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. So I can give you their info and, maybe you can use their artists during the day Saturday. But Kimberlee, you probably know some as well. But
yeah, I definitely know some artists, and I'd encourage you to send me a message on LinkedIn, and I'd be happy to share whatever information you have with my networks.
Okay, excellent. So definitely that's a good opportunity. So now, Kimberlee, you've been doing a lot of different stuff, especially with the Newark Business Hub. And I've heard a lot of good things about it, but talk a little bit more about how that came together and how you can, how things, how creating pieces of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, how important they are, and what it takes to really bring them together.
Sure. And I'd say, wow, shortly after the TEDx Broad Street experience in 2013, I decided that I wanted to do something that would really elevate entrepreneurs in a way that was different than what I had done in the past, like something that would truly invest in their lifelong learning. And I have a passion, obviously, for helping entrepreneurs and collaborating with entrepreneurs. But I decided it made sense to me to focus on entrepreneurs that were like myself, because those were the people that I knew best, folks that were, photographers, videographers, writers, publicists, marketers. We folks, I felt like I know the challenges that we face. I can understand the journey to a corporate contract. I can understand the journey to certification for a business like that. And so I said, there was a need because one good thing I can say about Newark, I can say a lot of good things about Newark, but one specifically I can say about Newark is that there are a lot of services to support early stage entrepreneurs. But there aren't a lot of services that focus specifically on a certain vertical or a particular segment of entrepreneurs, right? So you may be in a class with, entrepreneurs who are, washing windows and an attorney and an accountant and a marketing person. But I wanted to do something that was specific to creative entrepreneurs because I know them, I know their journey, and there was nothing like it that exists in this market. And there was a unique opportunity that I saw, which was that Rutgers University, the Center for Urban Entrepreneurship and Economic Development, had new leadership in Lanier Richardson as the executive director of that organization at Rutgers Business School. And I said, I know I have a great relationship with Lanier, and I knew that he would recognize the gap in this marketplace and recognize it as an opportunity, especially when it was also a time when Rutgers University Newark, Chancellor Cantor, had made a major investment in the arts ecosystem through the development of Express Newark at the Haynes Building, which is a 50,000 square foot arts incubator in the center of downtown Newark. And so the development of the Newark Business Hub happened to coincide with the development of this arts incubator, Express Newark. And it was a fortunate alignment. And, it is a lot of it is about timing. And we happened to capture the right timing with the right and willing partner in Lanier and Chancellor Cantor. So what began as a concept, and a concept that I tried to bring to life in different forms, but it found a welcome home at Rutgers University Newark. And through Lanier's leadership, we applied for a seed grant, that first investment of other people's money, which happened to be the university's. And we went and piloted the program in 2016 at Rutgers Business School. Now, at that time, that was like a lifetime ago with the pandemic and such, but at that time, we were able to have in-person classes, have after class experiences or social networking experiences where we brought in industry experts for lecture style talks. We networked with other creative entrepreneurs in Memphis and created a network of like-minded people. But essentially, it was good timing. And not only that, it was a need, a demonstrated need, because in that first cohort, we had the who's who in the creative world, people like Rodney Gilbert, people like Ayanna Morris and Anthony Alvarez and Tamara Fleming and Jeff Billingsley, and just the names go on and on. And that was part of our inaugural class, and they helped to really establish a standard of excellence that continues to this day. But that was the seed. And we took that seed and we continued to cultivate it and to grow it. And we also engaged a cohort of entrepreneurs in Memphis, Tennessee, through a partnership with a nonprofit called Art Up. And so it always evolved. And the vision was always about serving Black and Brown entrepreneurs in Newark and beyond. Because the one thing about Newark is whatever we're doing in Newark, whatever new knowledge is being developed, research, ideas are being piloted, they have relevance everywhere else, because there are so many cities that are facing similar challenges and have similar opportunities as Newark. And so we took our show on the road, and found success there as well. We also visited Havana, Cuba, with a delegation of some of our alumni and other leaders in the arts from Newark to Havana, Cuba, seeking partnerships and the opportunity to develop a hub in Havana. We've also gone and visited partners in South Africa. So there, we've always had a forward-looking vision on how to elevate Black and Brown entrepreneurs locally and globally. And as I mentioned just recently, through our partnership with Rutgers University, we evolved our curriculum from an in-person curriculum into a virtual curriculum. And we were able to serve that curriculum to an international cohort, where in one single cohort, there were, some 15 different countries represented. So what we're doing is really on the leading edge, incorporating technology and education, as well as partnering with higher education to do something that's innovative in their space, to help them to achieve their equity and inclusion goals as well.
Okay, excellent. So you talked about a lot of key things there. So great response. Definitely got to give a shout out to Lanier. He's been supportive of so many important things in and around Newark, and open to creative and new ideas. Actually, I was telling you that this is our 10th year anniversary of the Power Breakfast, and our next one's going to be actually here. It's going to be Friday, July 29th, back in Newark, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we got a full day. And actually, the night before the 28th, we're going to have a networking reception for the first time. But Lanier was our first sponsor back 10 years ago. So, he's been doing great things for a long time. One of the things in your response is something that, I always talk to business owners about. And, really the key to thriving and being successful is you got to be proactive, you got to be creative, and you got to be flexible. And, all three of those things were very instrumental in what you were able to do there, but also throughout your, career, all the different things that you're doing along each step. Most of those have never been done before. So, definitely, you're not waiting around for someone else to do stuff. So you're proactive, creative, and, things don't always happen the way you expect them to. So you got to be flexible enough to, roll with the opportunity and where it takes you. So no, it's definitely always great to have people like you out there looking to support entrepreneurs and business owners through their journey, and especially the starving ones, because the starving artists it's not just a saying. There could be a lot of artists. It's not easy to make it in that space. So some of the things that you're doing, what are some of the key things that are most important that the artists need, and that you help them to be able to access so that they can be more successful? What do you see as the biggest challenges for them?
I think oftentimes, and I don't know if this is unique to artists or not, but oftentimes entrepreneurs think that their main issue in their business is a marketing issue. Everybody has a marketing issue. But when you peel back the layers and you have some deeper diving questions, usually it goes back to the fundamentals. An entrepreneur hasn't created a plan. An entrepreneur hasn't done the competitive research to really understand why their competitors are thriving. Maybe that entrepreneur hasn't really created a persona or profile of their ideal customer. They've never talked to their customer. It usually goes back to the fundamentals. And so then that's why their marketing isn't working, right? Because they haven't done the analysis that would give them the ammunition, that would give them the plan or the strategy to execute well. And so again, this self-finance business is rolling along, trying things and missing, trying something else and missing, all the time self-financing those mistakes because you haven't done the research. You haven't created that plan. You don't have annual goals. You're not measuring anything. So it becomes kind of a willy-nilly approach to business. And it leads to at least frustration, if not failure. And so I think that understanding the fundamentals, and quite honestly, that's something that I had to learn the hard way. I'm not going to sit here and act like I was just born an entrepreneur. No, absolutely not. As a matter of fact, my very first business, which I started in 1998, failed spectacularly, actually. But it was because I had no respect for the fundamentals. I didn't even know the fundamentals. I had no idea what I didn't know. But I had an office, I didn't have services, I didn't have prices, I didn't have a plan, I didn't have an agreement with my business partners. There was a laundry list of things I didn't have and didn't know that I should have. But there actually is a checklist. You could go to the SBA website or Google search a checklist for starting your business and then make yourself go down the line checking things off so that you have a strong foundation and that you're developing a culture for yourself, starting with yourself, of being methodical about your business, asking questions of your business, and then doing the research to find those answers, or turning to your customers and talking to them. Because that's, I think, a fundamental shift that has occurred even in business planning. You should know the latest trends in business planning. But right now, it's about how well do you know your audience? How well do you know your customer? And that knowledge in a business today is worth its weight in gold. So I would encourage anyone to really learn the art of business, not just the art of the thing that you create as a creator, but the art of the business that will propel your creation into the future, that will help you to build wealth for yourself and for your family. Learn the business of your business and create that as a habit it will only uh, expand and compound and grow your business in the future.
Okay. No, that's really powerful, and not just for creatives. Any business. I think I look at it as the business model, because a lot of times people go out there doomed from the beginning, because if you don't have a business model that can make money, and you don't know it can't make money, you're going out there and you're not prepared, and unless you make some changes quickly, you're not gonna make it.
Yep.
And I think you talked about businesses, it being a marketing problem. It's really about lack of marketing planning problem and strategy, because most people don't know what marketing really is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not TV commercials or ads. Those are just marketing tools. But marketing is about developing a comprehensive strategy based on analysis and understanding your customer and understanding your market and understanding the trends. So if you don't do the work, your plan's not going to be really good. I think that's what you're sort of alluding to.
Yeah, and not only will your marketing not be effective, but your overall business will not be effective because essentially that same research about what your customers' wants and needs are, that research will influence your product or service. It should influence your product and service. You should only be making products and services that your customers have told you they want, right? But if you're not doing the research and you haven't created a line of communication with your audience or your target customer, then you're simply guessing what they want, right? And hoping that it's on point.
So you're basically out there winging it. And,
Yes.
do you want to wing it with your livelihood? That's probably not a good strategy. So, definitely, putting a little bit more behind what you're doing and being more structured is key. So, definitely, we're covering a lot of stuff. We got 13 minutes left. So I told you an hour goes pretty fast. So if you have a question, make sure you get it in. Appreciating everybody's comments and everything. But, Kimberlee, as we're, doing stuff, what do you see for the future? What are key things for entrepreneurs and business? What do we need to know for the future? And what do we need to prepare to be successful in the future?
Look, I don't know if I would have answered this question this way if you asked me yesterday, but today, what's on my mind is the metaverse. We need to go ahead and buy those goggles, not for the games, but to be exposed to what the internet will look like in the future, right? And I'm saying this because most businesses fail for poor management and access to up-to-date information, cutting-edge information. Now, we can give ourselves access to information by listening to programs such as this, podcasts and the like, but also exposing ourselves to new technologies, because it is those technologies that will rule the day tomorrow. So I'm encouraging entrepreneurs to figure out NFTs, to go ahead and join the metaverse and perhaps buy some real estate in that space, right? Because it is just like when people started buying .coms. This is the next iteration. So the question is, how will your business evolve? And you don't have to know the answer for that today, but you should be asking this question. And you should be exposing yourself to these new business models. And that's such an important phrase and words, business model, because that's essentially what these are new ways of making money that will impact your current way of making money. So I'd say anything that has to do with the intersection of technology and communication and technology powering business, that is what you need to be looking at. Start now. Even start with, as I said, a podcast, pick up an audio book, whatever it is that you can start training your mind to being open to these concepts, you'll be ahead of the game.
Hey, that was interesting that you said that for two reasons. One, I was talking to someone about training, and they were talking about time management training. And I was like, well, you can't really talk about time management without talking about technology, because, I don't know about you, but over the pandemic, I probably increased my productivity 3 times or more, but using technology. So, you can't manage your time that much better unless you are able to leverage it. So, we need to be learning technology and staying current with it, because otherwise you're going to be left behind. It's interesting that you said the metaverse, because guess what? We're on the metaverse tonight. Every week we're on live in the STEM City USA metaverse. It's a 2D metaverse. Check it out. But yeah, and we had Tyrone Taborn as a guest a few months back, and he's the one that created this metaverse. And so he invited us to broadcast, but it's a way to learn, about the metaverse, because it's not just the goggles. There's a lot more going on than just playing games, and it doesn't have to be. It's just the way things are. It's just another technology, another tool, another opportunity for a new type of business model, and way things are evolving. So you're 100% right. Technology, staying current. A mutual friend of ours, or probably a mutual mentor of ours, Don Viapre.
Yes.
He's always sending me technology stuff. He's really technology and international. Those are the two areas that are going to continue to grow and converge, and where a lot of the opportunities are going to be. So we go pretty fast, but one thing I always ask my guests is, we talked about so many great things that you're doing, that are happening, that people need to know. But before we go, I'd like to just share 3 things that people should do starting tomorrow, based on what we talked about. I'll give you a second to think about it, but definitely it doesn't help you if you just listen and don't do anything. So we want to just make sure they have clear direction, so that tomorrow they know what they can do to be more successful. So I'll give you a minute to think about that. 10th anniversary of the Power Breakfast, put on your calendar, July 29th in Newark, New Jersey, once again. And if you don't know what the Power Breakfast is, here we'll show you. If you are looking to increase revenues, improve profitability, and or obtain financing for your business, you need to check out the Power Breakfast and Small Business Pro conferences. My name is Andrew Frazier. One of the things we're here to do is supercharge your day.
Today's Power Breakfast has really been a phenomenal experience. I think it's exactly what business owners need, some true guidance of people who are genuine and really are leading them in the true direction of business growth and expansion.
The Power Breakfast is so important for the entrepreneurial community because it gives the various business people who come together an opportunity to interact and also do some business.
These events, hosted by Andrew Frazier, President and COO of Small Business Like a Pro, will supercharge your day. Okay, welcome back to Leadership Live at 805 Talking Small Business. I've got Kimberlee Williams here, and we're talking about, how to help entrepreneurs thrive in the current environment. We've talked about a lot of valuable things, but, just to narrow it down to 3, I know is not easy, but, I think that it's hard for people to remember more than 3 things at a time. So, if they can start with these 3, and then you can always evolve, but the most important 3 are some key things. Can't wait to hear. So what do you got for us, Kimberlee?
The first thing I would say is get a mentor. Get a coach, get a mentor, get a big sister, big brother, whatever you want to call it, but get someone who you can trust, who you can rely on, who can give you some good advice, who has been down this entrepreneur journey themselves. They've had successes, they've had failures, they have perspective. And you need a mentor or a coach today. Pay for a mentor or coach. Sign up for a program, however you got to get one. I would say the first thing you need to do to grow is to get a coach. Very successful people have coaches. And I think you should too. The second thing I would say is learn about equity crowdfunding. We've all heard of crowdfunding, but few of us have heard about equity crowdfunding. And equity crowdfunding is a new approach for small businesses to raise money for their business by finding investors anywhere in the world using the internet. Now, that was not possible before Barack Obama. Only, companies that were able to get listed on the stock exchanges could raise money from people they didn't know. But now any small business can do that with very little paperwork. You can seek out investors for your business. Obviously, you can't forget about the fundamentals of having a strong business plan, knowing your numbers, knowing what your value proposition is, how you plan to perform and return an investment to an investor. But it is an opportunity that is new and it's available to you today through very little paperwork, unlike going for an initial public offering on the stock exchange, obviously, a lot less complicated. So you should know about that because at some point in your business, you're going to need money. And you should know that this is another tool available to you. The third thing I would say you should know about is a business planning approach called Lean Startup. And Lean Startup is an approach to planning out the future of your business. It's an approach to planning out the launch of a new product or planning out the launch of a new business. And there are tools in this approach called the one-page marketing plan, or rather, the one-page business plan. It uses language like pivot, language like customer-centered market research, and essentially what it is, which makes this really worth learning, is it says that your business plan is for you so that you really understand what to do, but it also requires you to get out of your head and actually talk to people. In order to proceed with a lean startup plan, you can't do it at home by yourself in your, at your desk. This is an approach that involves you talking to your potential customers, really understanding what it is that they need, and developing the product or service that customers have told you they want. It also involves experimenting. So you're constantly learning, you're asking questions of your business, you're asking questions of your data so that you're constantly learning and proving assumptions to be correct or incorrect. So it's really a methodology, it's more scientific, if you will, approach to developing your business through a planning process. But I encourage you to look it up. Again, there are lots of videos on YouTube and books that have been written about lean startup, but it is worth your time. This is the approach that businesses of today, the businesses we look up to today in the 21st century, were built on this approach that incorporates technology and that it evolved in an environment like we're living in now. So I think it's really relevant for folks to learn.
Okay. No, great points. Definitely mentor, coach, and then you qualified that with someone who has had some success and understands what you're trying to do, because not everybody's entrepreneurial or understands what it means to be a business owner. But you're going to need to have that. And, if you're just moving into business, you're going to have to develop a whole new network of business owners. So, because it's hard for, a lot of people don't understand why you do it or why you would even do that. But you got to be around people who understand that and who can teach you that. Definitely, funding's evolved a lot. And then lean, it's really, I guess, just a 5-second definition might be, you're continually testing and trying new things and in a methodical way to get to the right answer. Because, I'm sure like me, I've tried a lot of different things in my business. Not all of them worked, but if I'd have tried them faster, I might have gotten to the right solution faster. And that's what, the lean tools kind of help you to do. And I heard this, I don't know if you've heard this before, but many times they say that usually you're really successful on your third business. So you got to hurry up and get through your first two.
It's true. It's so true.
So, but this has been great. Loved hanging out with you. Hang on for a sec as we close it out, but this has been very valuable. Definitely appreciate comments. A lot of people, definitely thanks everybody for tuning in. But before you go, let me just give you a little bit, chat real quick. So we talked about the Juneteenth. This is the Empower the Village Juneteenth. And you have the link in the chat. So definitely, if you're interested, check it out. But either way, you should get to know Empower the Village. They're doing some great stuff, and it's a great organization, and definitely a good way to connect. Also, Kimberlee mentioned about mentors. If you don't know how or where, you may want to look at Rising Tide Capital, Small Business Development Center, or SCORE. So things to consider, that if you need to reach out. And then, we have some great shows upcoming. Next week, we've got Jeremy Slate, and, he's going to be talking about small pond PR. So really effective ways to really get your brand out there. But as a small business owner, you don't have a lot of extra cash. So being able to market, sometimes they call it guerrilla marketing, but being able to market effectively, PR can be a great source for that. So looking forward to talking to Tim next week. And then the week after, we got Ramon Ray, and, talking about inspiration. When you start your business, usually you have a lot of inspiration. You get beat down a few times. So sometimes you need to get your inspiration back. So, definitely looking forward to that. So once again, thanks for tuning in. Each week, look forward to seeing you, and appreciate you doing that. If you haven't, joined my, subscribe to my YouTube channel, please consider it. And, at the end of the day, I always say, the more that you know, the faster your business will grow.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.